It's either Kid who says, "You, when I want you," or she says, "Hey, when we want your opinion, I'll take my panini out of your mouth."
Blake Lively is now furious after Ryan Reynolds not only damaged their public image, but also involved their 7-year-old daughter in his inappropriate sense of humor. Enz is a girl, Enz is 7 years old, Enz is a child, Enz is their child.
Inez is a girl. Inez is 7 years old. Inez is a child. Inez is your child.
He proved to be a reckless, tone-deaf father by pressuring the child into saying a disturbing line she clearly resisted at first.
He is a predator, a bully, a narcissist, a psychopath, and everything else that you can think of.
Behind-the-scenes clips from Deadpool 3 exploded across the internet like a nuclear bomb, and suddenly Blake Lively, Hollywood's professional Pinterest board, is on internal Zoom calls, sobbing real tears, not the kind meant for the big screen.
Because it is that gross.
Not those fake, "I'm being vulnerable for the press" tears. These were real. Their own daughter, their actual 7-year-old child, had become the face of one of the most appalling lines ever written in a superhero movie.
What Ryan Reynolds forced his daughter to do on Deadpool is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever heard of.
And guess who's sitting at the top of this crumbling disaster? Ryan Reynolds, the same guy everyone once thought was a charming, witty legend. Now he's a full-blown PR dumpster fire, hiding behind sarcasm as his only defense mechanism. But sorry, Ryan, sarcasm can't save you from this one.
Even the daughter was forced to tell a sexually vulgar, predatory gay joke.
Ryan isn't just getting dragged by the public, he's getting laughed out of Hollywood. When the very industry that once worshipped you is now serving you a pink slip with a side of, "Please never write dialogue again," that's not just a fall from grace. It's a nosedive into a pit of your own terrible judgment.
You made this girl practice different iterations of Wolverine having his male genitalia in her father's mouth. Deadpool.
Let's be real. This is a cinematic crime scene. Between parenting scandals and lawsuits that would bankrupt smaller countries, this couple has unraveled faster than Ryan's acting career post-Deadpool 3. It's like watching a high-budget car crash in slow motion, except the car is on fire and dragging a stroller behind it.
When she didn't want to do it, well, I'm just going to find someone else to do it. And then, no, daddy, I'll do it. See, when a narcissist, when they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see the grooming.
In the case of 7-year-old Enz Reynolds, their child was instructed to say on camera in a Marvel film, "When I want your opinion, I will take Wolverine's doc out of your mouth." This is the famous line that was leaked, shared, memed, and screamed about on all platforms. If you have not heard it yet, get ready because it is nauseating. Take in the fact that a first grader said that.
Why would you write a line that says, "Your child will take her panini out"?
And so she's saying panini, but it's the word's dick.
And oh no, this wasn't some one-off slip of the tongue. Ryan himself, in what might be the most cringe-worthy behind-the-scenes moment of all time, bragged, yes, bragged, that she was made to rehearse it anywhere from 70 to 500 times. Because why traumatize your kid once when you can do it on loop, like it's some kind of disgusting vocal warm-up?
On here.
Poor guy.
Fight if it was you. When I want
That's guiltily, that is my daughter, Inez.
I'm so sorry we have to admit that.
And I am Father of the Year over here for allowing her to say such language.
And let's not forget, she didn't even want to say it at first. Imagine being so out of touch that your 7-year-old has better judgment than you. She said no multiple times, and Ryan, instead of, respecting his child like a decent parent, pulled out the classic narcissist move. Well, if you won't do it, I'll find someone else.
I am Father of the Year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say, and then came back later and said, "I want to say it now."
Manipulation level 100. So guess what she did? She caved. She said it. Not because it was funny, not because she changed her mind, but because that's what kids do when they're scared of disappointing their parents. She did it because she didn't want Daddy to be mad.
Such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say. And then came back later and said, I want to say it now, when I started looking at other people to play.
Yeah, but
And Ryan? Oh, he laughs about it on camera like it's just some quirky parenting anecdote. He even has the nerve to call himself Father of the Year. Dude, you're not Father of the Year. You're the poster child for what not to do with a Hollywood kid.
you can write this all you want in the script, and like I said, you can just have a voiceover actor. You can literally have the Kidpool character say, hey Wolverine, you're my dad. It doesn't matter what they say. You can dub it in post-production, right?
Marvel, for the record, was furious. Executives went into full panic mode because this isn't the kind of line that plays well under the Disney umbrella. The same Disney that edits out cleavage and won't even let animated characters hold hands if it's too suggestive. But somehow, a kid making a crude, sexual joke about Wolverine? That slipped through the cracks until it didn't.
This is what Marvel has decided is appropriate.
Child advocates came out swinging, calling this entire situation one of the most appalling things they've ever seen involving a minor in Hollywood. And that says a lot, considering how messed up the industry already is.
Everyone involved in this movie can burn in goddamn hell. Because the fact that you thought that this was cute, funny, a joke, you're grooming this child right before our eyes, and you're so proud of yourself.
And now let's talk about Ryan Reynolds, the man behind the smirk that's been fooling everyone for way too long. He used to be Hollywood's golden retriever, all charm and likability. Now, he's just the guy who threw his own daughter under the Marvel bus for the sake of a cheap laugh.
Line. It wasn't a joke. There's nothing funny about this. This is grooming. This is grooming on the screen. For a child, a little girl, to have to say this, Disney, what the hell is wrong with you?
Online? Oh, he's getting annihilated. People aren't just mad, they're disgusted. They're calling him a narcissist, a bully, and worse. Because this isn't some edgy adult humor. This is your own child being turned into a punchline in a billion-dollar franchise.
I made her do it, and she didn't want to. To our discredit, we did make her redo it 500 times with different lines that were sexually graphic.
Let's not forget the way he treats women, because yeah, this isn't new. He's built an entire career out of making his wife the butt of the joke. Red carpets, interviews, social media. Blade is always the setup for his next witty comment. The man uses women like props in his comedy skits, and then hides behind the "I'm just being funny" defense like a coward.
So just like he does with Blake Lively, he's always denigrating his wife. He's always praising another man, especially Hugh Jackman, who he seems to have a deep love and fondness and intimacy with.
And then there's Justin Baldoni. Poor guy didn't even sign up for this chaos. But Ryan made sure to drag him into it with a cheap line in Deadpool 3 that went something like, "Don't mind him, he's just dealing with legal trouble over a movie nobody wanted." Because apparently throwing his own kid under the bus wasn't enough. He had to take shots at a fellow actor too.
Ryan Reynolds, has seemingly done, right, is used his power and influence to not only help Blake Lively take over this movie, he's used it, on Deadpool to make fun of Justin Baldoni.
According to insiders, that joke wasn't some offhand remark. It showed up in multiple drafts. This was calculated pettiness. Ryan turned a $28 million movie into his own personal burn book, because apparently nothing says professionalism like taking cheap shots at a fellow director while being tangled in your own daughter's controversy.
And it looks like the same thing that he does to his wife, he is doing down to his daughter. He seems to have a deep hatred for the women in his family, other than his mother, who participated in the bullying tactics with that little skit that she did with all of them.
And guess what Marvel did with that joke? Removed it. Scrubbed it clean. Because not only was it wildly inappropriate, but it might have also been the final straw. Word on the street is Marvel's putting him on a creative leash now. That quiet firing? It's already happening. He's still technically in the movie, but his power? Gone. His control? Slashed. His ego? Still massive, but at least now it's being monitored. Now let's talk about the other half of this disaster do. Blake Lively. She really tried to keep it together, showing up in Deadpool 3 as Lady Dead like everything was fine. Like she wasn't knee-deep in controversy, standing next to her husband while their asterisk literal child asterisk was being used as punchline material.
And it looks like the same thing that he does to his wife, he is doing now to his daughter. He seems to have a deep hatred for the women in his family.
But guess what? That calm, collected yoga mom persona cracked real quick once people found out she was fully aware of the scene her 7-year-old daughter was shoved into. Remember how the initial narrative painted her as uncomfortable with the line but ultimately powerless? Yeah, turns out that was about as genuine as her red carpet smile.
How he completely tries to embarrass and humiliate Blake Lively over and over again publicly while he praises other people. And it looks like the same thing that he does to his wife, he is doing now to his daughter. He seems to have a deep hatred for the women in his family.
The backlash came in hot because here's Blake, the sane woman branding herself as Hollywood's wholesome feminist icon, essentially giving the thumbs up to a line for her daughter that would make most stand-up comedians nervous. The same Blake who posts about motherhood and empowerment is now tied to a scene so disturbing that child advocacy groups are ready to file lawsuits. But go off, girl boss.
And whatever manipulation or bullying tactics they have to do, they're going to do it. Did they do that to their own daughter? Silent treatment, gaslighting.
And now people are asking the hard questions. Was she really uncomfortable, or was she just playing damage control after realizing she co-signed one of the most appalling lines in recent film history? Rumors are swirling that she didn't just allow the scene, she allegedly helped pressure her daughter into saying it. Yes, mommy dearest in action. Apparently, when Inns didn't want to do it, Blake may have pulled the classic "let's not disappoint daddy" guilt trip. A classic enabling move, all dressed up in pastel mommy blog vibes.
You look at these instances and you go, these aren't good people. Or at the very least, they're not thinking critically about what's good for their family, really, you know?
Then came the real plot twist, the crying. Yep, Blake allegedly broke down during Disney's internal discussions, full tears, mascara running, blaming Ryan for making creative decisions without consulting her. Oh please. Now she wants to act like she had no say. She was in the film, in the cast, at the table, on set. You mean to tell me you had no clue your daughter was rehearsing a line involving Wolverine's junk? Girl, your denial is working overtime.
They have this oversight, and I don't know what the excuse is, but it's just one of those situations that when the internet's already coming at you for this lawsuit, and Blake and Ryan being on kind of the wrong side of the fandom here, right?
And naturally, this whole mess dredged up Blake's greatest hits, the scandals she probably hoped the internet had forgotten. Like that time, she and Ryan got married on a literal plantation, surrounded by slave cabins, because apparently Pinterest aesthetics mattered more than human history. Or the time she casually claimed to be part Cherokee for the vibes. Oh, and let's not forget her cozying up to Woody Allen on a red carpet, just to complete the trifecta. Turns out, the protective feminist label doesn't age well when your career is built on a mountain of tone-deaf decisions.
Thinking critically about what's good for their family, really, and it puts their daughter and them in a very vulnerable position.
Meanwhile, across Hollywood, another storm is brewing, and it's got Justin Baldoni's name all over it. While Blake's busy juggling PR disasters, she's also being sued by Baldoni for a cool $400 million. And let's be real, this isn't your typical lawsuit. This is a full-blown Hollywood war. And Ryan? Surprise, surprise, he shoved himself right into the middle of it.
The lengths that he and Blake Lively went to destroy Justin Baldoni, how even now they're filing these ridiculous motions to dismiss, claiming victimhood, pretending like they didn't do anything wrong, still lying on Justin Baldoni, saying that he is a sexual predator.
Baldoni claims Blake went full scorched earth, accusing him of things he didn't do, twisting public opinion against him with a calculated PR smear campaign. Sound familiar? It should, because now that same predator label is circling back to Ryan after what happened with his daughter. Karma's not just real, it's trending.
He is a certified predator, and that is protected language, like he said in his motion to dismiss, that because it's opinion to say somebody is a predator, well, then that is my opinion.
And Disney. Oh, they saw the writing on the wall fast. They've allegedly thrown their support behind Baldoni, even offering him legal backing and future directing opportunities. That's not subtle. That's a megaphone blaring. We're done with the Reynolds circus. You don't offer a guy new projects while suing your franchise star's wife unless you've picked a side.
I want to go through is how he completely tries to embarrass and humiliate Blake Lively over and over again publicly while he praises other people.
The final nail in the coffin. That snarky Deadpool line aimed at Baldoni. Legal trouble over a movie no one asked for. It wasn't a joke. It was a hit piece. A jab straight from Ryan's bitter little typewriter. Sources say the line appeared in multiple versions of the script, meaning this wasn't some off-the-cuff improv moment. It was a premeditated burn, and it backfired harder than one of Deadpool's grenades.
Oh, I'm Deadpool. And I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She's gorgeous. She just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. I identify as a feminine.
Disney took one look at that and said, yeah, we're done here. Allegedly, that was the final straw that led to their decision to cut ties with Reynolds. Not with fireworks, but with cold executive silence. The quiet kind of firing that doesn't make headlines but slowly drowns you in creative irrelevance.
And that's what he says. So he kind of basically forced his daughter to do the line, or else he's going to replace her as an actress in this movie. She's 7 years old, you guys.
And speaking of Disney, boy, were they not ready for this mess. The second the Baldoni joke leaked, Disney reportedly hit full panic mode. They didn't just ask for the line to be cut, they allegedly ordered it scrubbed from all versions of the film. That's how fast they moved. Test audiences freaked, Backlash exploded, and Mickey Mouse was about to have a full-on public meltdown.
You have to investigate any further because there is no father in his right mind who would want a scene in which his daughter makes a, I guess, homosexual joke.
Execs were terrified the joke could sabotage their new projects with Baldoni because, unlike Ryan, Baldoni still has a future in the industry, one that doesn't involve exploiting his kid for laughs. Disney knows where the long-term money is, and it's definitely not with a guy who turned Deadpool into a petty roast session.
That is just unbelievable. He is admitting that she was not, Nezzy, as she is called, was not comfortable doing this line, and Ryan essentially said to her that I'm going to find another actor, which is pointedly ridiculous.
Insiders say Ryan was hit with a harsh ultimatum. Tone it down or you're done. No more free passes for irreverent humor. No more edgy, smug nonsense. After the leak, the studio reportedly combed through the entire script, flagging any joke that could spark legal trouble. Their message was clear: trust in him is running on empty.
And if you actually dissect the lines, they are catastrophically gross.
Ryan Reynolds, once Marvel's golden boy, is now basically the office liability no one wants in the room. His Deadpool influence, gone. His jokes, need approval. And rumor has it Disney's already eyeing a brand-safe replacement. That's how toxic he's become, turning his own franchise into a revenge weapon, exploiting his daughter on screen, and still having the nerve to wink like he's clever.
Ryan Reynolds' statement, as contained in the allegations, is that he went and called Baldoni a predator. I mean, that is just such an over-the-top statement, and it does, just in its own right, seems malicious.
Now he's getting roasted online from all sides. OG fans are calling the movie soulless, while Marvel parents want him banned entirely. Turns out Ryan doesn't know the difference between edgy and exploitative, and the internet's had enough. When your own kid becomes the punchline, you're not edgy, you're just embarrassing.
Now, there's people that are saying we should call Child Protective Services. I think that's too far. I think that can be very dangerous when you call Child Protective Services in instances where there isn't a actual harm.
Then came the hashtag, the glorious 3-day reign of cancel Ryan Reynolds. Trending for 72 hours straight on X, formerly Twitter, it was a full-scale drag fest, yanking every skeleton out of his perfectly curated walk-in closet. Old clips, cringy interviews, red carpet moments of him mocking Blake for laughs. Everything was fair game. And trust me, the internet does not forget.
What manipulation and gaslighting happened behind the scenes to force this little girl to do this? And then on top of that, 500 different times practicing and doing different iterations of this sexually graphic and vulgar joke line. It wasn't a joke. There's nothing funny about this.